Hi, my name is Kelsey, and today I'll be interviewing my cousin Carmel. She couldn't be with us here in person, so we're doing it over the phone. Hi, Carmel.
Hi, Kelsey.
How are you?
I'm well, thanks for asking. How are you?
Good. So today I'm just going to be asking you a couple questions about your birth story.
Okay, I'm excited.
All right. So, did you have a birth plan when you got pregnant?
I did not. My son was a happy accident, so I did not have a birth plan when I got pregnant. And then when I realized that, okay, in 9 months I'm going to be delivering a baby, a live human, I literally had no plan. I knew that I wanted an epidural, though. That I knew. But other than that, not really.
Did you have any morning sickness? Did your body change?
My body did change. Luckily, I did not have morning sickness. I did not know I was pregnant for the first 4 weeks.
Wow.
And I did not have any morning sickness. However, I noticed my body changing because my breasts were very tender and sore. And sometimes that's a symptom of me like starting my cycle. So I just thought, okay, my cycle's coming. And then my cycle didn't come. And it just felt different. And at that time, my sister was moving and I was helping her move. So I thought, I thought I got hurt or strained a muscle in my breast when I was helping her move. So I blamed her for my tender, sore boobs. And then it wasn't her fault. So, yeah, that's the only real change. And obviously, my belly getting bigger every so often. But other than that, that's it.
Okay. So, what about your after the first couple of weeks? You know, you didn't have morning sickness. Were you bedridden? Did you still work?
I did still work. And I totally forgot another symptoms that I did have was a headache. And I thought it was because my schedule at work changed, because I normally work like 9 to 5. And then they switched me to nights because they wanted me to anchor the evening news. So I was like 2 to 11. And I hated that shift because I hated staying up. So I did experience fatigue and a headache. And I just thought it was because my shift changing, but it was because I was pregnant. But I did, so as my pregnancy continued, my gynecologist, she would like monitor certain things, and then she did see that I had protein in my urine. So that concerned her, and my blood pressure was a little bit high. Okay. So she told me to not eat certain things and to take my blood pressure 3 times a day. And if it was over a certain number, to call her. So one time it was over a certain number. I called her and she was like, okay, we're going to get you in sooner. So she got me in. It was towards the end of my, I was like 30 something weeks at this point. Okay. And that's when I realized, that's when she told me I had preeclampsia. So okay. I was freaking out because this is my first child. I'm like, oh my gosh, am I dying? What is preeclampsia? So basically, preeclampsia is having, I had high blood pressure while I was pregnant, essentially. And it could turn worse if I didn't take it easy. So we monitored it some more. And then the very last time I was in her office, she took my blood pressure and it wasn't going down. And I was lifting up my feet when she told me to. So she put me on bed rest, like my final, 4 weeks. Okay. And then after I was on bed rest for 4 weeks, I went in for my final checkup, and she was like, yeah, no, you're going to have to deliver this baby sooner rather than later. So then we scheduled me giving birth. So I actually really like being able to pick my son's birthday because I like to be in control. So at least at that point, I knew, okay, January 18th, that's when I'm going to give birth, instead of, oh no, my water broke and I'm in traffic. Right. So that was really nice.
Yeah. So what about your delivery? Was that scary? Was it painful? You said you did want an epidural, right?
I definitely did want an epidural because with my cycle, I didn't have major cramps like other women experience. So I am such a sucker when it comes to pain. So my child's father, Zach, he has not seen me cry. He's seen me cry 5 times in my life. So when I would have to go to the doctor's office and they would have to pull my blood, draw my blood, my veins are hard to find. So they would stick the needle and shimmy it, and it busted one of my veins, and it hurt so bad. So I was crying, and he saw me crying. He's like, what happened? So he was freaking out because he knows I do not cry often. So that sucked. However,
Wow.
feeling the first contraction sucked even more than that. So as soon as I felt the first contraction, I called the nurse. I said, epidural, please. And she said, it's not time yet. It's too soon. And I'm like, well, y'all need to give me something because this ain't it. So they gave me something. I believe it was Oxy, if I'm not mistaken. It was something that they put in my IV.
Mm-hmm.
And that, everybody was making fun of me because I felt like I was high. I was slurring my words. I didn't make sense. I was shivering because I was cold. And then finally my body, I don't know, it got used to it. And then when it was time to push, I did ask for an epidural because I didn't feel the contractions, but it still hurt. And I was like, yeah, nah, I ain't with this pain. Like, there's no reason for me to experience this pain.
Right.
So I finally got the epidural. It did not hurt. I never look at needles. Never, ever, 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 ever. So having my mother in the room, and she sees the needle, and she is just making all these sounds, and I'm just like, dear Lord, I should have had somebody else in here because it was not necessary. Just like, oh my gosh, it's so big, and I'm like, mother, please, because you have to stay still, or else you might get paralyzed. So after I did get the epidural, everything was smooth sailing. I was 4 centimeters for the longest because they had to break my water because I was induced.
Right.
So everything kind of, it took a long time, but when it was showtime, it was showtime. Like 3 pushes, Adrian was out, and that was it.
Wow.
And it was funny because when I was pushing him, I'm like, am I pushing? Because I don't know because I couldn't feel anything.
Right.
And everyone was like, yes, you're pushing. So honestly, I wouldn't trade my experience for the world. I am kind of leaning towards maybe a water birth in the future if I have another child, if I am blessed with another child. But I'm not sure. We'll see.
Okay.
Because I feel like with the water births, you're not allowed to have an epidural, and I need all the pain meds I can take. So
Okay, well, thank you for your interview. And one last question. How much did Adrian weigh?
my son was actually little. He was like 5 pounds. He was tiny.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. I'm happy because I didn't want a 9-pounder. I'm sorry. Yeah, no. 5 pounds is great for me. So I was happy that he was just smaller than I anticipated, but then again, he was a newborn. So,
right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for your time.
Well, thank you for the honor of interviewing me. Thank you, Kelsey.
Thank you.